Hi guys, what's up? My name is Farmer 21927. As you might have seen from my last video, yes, I did get rejected by um all of the schools that I applied for this cycle. This includes Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Princeton, MIT, CMU, Columbia. Okay, now why does this matter? Well, if you have seen any of my fucking previous videos, you would know that I've been plugging my application consulting services to apply to the USA. Now, intuitively, you might think, like, is this guy fucking insane? Right? He just got rejected from all of his schools, and he wants to help me get into my dream USA university, right? Is this guy mad? Now, maybe I am, but I'm here today in this video to briefly give my own reflection on my own college application cycle this year. So it's currently April 2026. I submitted my apps in December of 2025. Um, and then after that, I'll talk a little bit more about my services and whether or not what I'll be doing with them. Okay, so how do I feel after getting rejected by all my schools, right? I mean, the shit sucks. But obviously, I wasn't actually that bummed out. Like, I definitely didn't cry or anything like that. Um, I think a lot of it stems from the fact that I just really am not that attached to the results. I remember seeing like on TikTok immediately after Ivy Day, there were a lot of other students, particularly in the US, like me, they got rejected from all the Ivy League schools they applied to. And their caption was literally like 4 years of high school down the drain. Can you just think about it for the sec? They let their entire 4 years of effort in high school, obviously to be in a position to even apply for um a spot in an Ivy League school, you would be expected to have a certain competency, right? So they probably would have grinded tons and tons of activities, tons and tons of awards, put their heart, soul, and mind to it, and they straight up just say that because they don't get into their Ivy League or their dream university, that is wasted. Like, doesn't that sound fucking insane? This is such a stupid mentality to have if your end goal is genuinely to get into your university and like your life is genuinely that shallow, then I don't even know what to say to you. Um, yeah, there is more to life outside of college admissions, as much as the average high school prestige maxer will want you to think. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do like next cycle, if I'm gonna reapply to the same schools or if I'm going to try new schools, if I gonna apply local. I haven't decided that yet. But the point is, I've like seen or heard a lot of people like getting really attached to their uni results. Especially for USA college admissions, I feel like it's an important PSA to everyone that you know it's not a meritocratic system. It's not, or rather, they try to market it as such, but it's not as meritocratic as it seems. It's also not fair. Life is not fair. That's just how it is. Deal with it. There are legacies. There are kids affiliated with staff at the institution. There are donors. There are all these different people who get favorable treatment, and even outside of those circumstances, there is no guarantee that there is no human bias or lack of human error within the admissions officer reading your file. So there are a lot of random factors considering um, this college admissions system is supposed to be like meritocratic, right? Only the best students get to go to these institutions supposedly, but it really is more like a lottery, especially like if you look at the recent application stats, right? Just look at the numbers. It doesn't take a fucking genius to realize like shit is getting tougher and tougher. Um, and they've said multiple times, like the institutions themselves, where they could uh, rerun the application cycle multiple times and have a completely different like cohort of students accepted, And this is the extent of like the randomness that is present within current USA college admissions. Okay. So with that understanding, y'all can probably understand why I'm so chill about it. There might be some of you who are watching this video for the first time and don't even know who I am. So okay, I'm Super Auto Best Farmer. Let me tell you a bit about my profile. In case you guys think I'm just some random shitter talking shit, right? So I'll just read a bit of my common app. Let me just pull it up. Some of the stuff that I did during my 2 years in JC. I led AI safety research, a team of 3. We wrote a paper. A paper got accepted into iClear 2025 ICLR, and then that paper later on went on to be cited 16 times by people from Yale, Rice, UIUC, UCL, Metafair, etc., etc. The publicity from that paper I ended up using that to get my foot in the door, and I ended up being recruited as a part-time AI researcher at Foxconn Research Institute. Oh my god, I can't talk. On their foundation models team. So I was one of 7 members. Everyone around me there either had masters or PhDs, from MIT or from universities around Taiwan. There, I built Taiwanese reasoning LLMs and MMLMs, multimodal language models. More specifically, I was the sole person in charge of the training infrastructure. I orchestrated training across about $12 million USD of GPUs, the valuation calculated, at the time of running. And the models that were produced, we ended up getting press coverage from the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, SCMP, and Computex 25 Expo. Other than that, I also dabble in a bit of startups. So while I was in JC, I started a startup with my friends called Revel. It ended up being adopted by more than half of the RI student body, so more than 1,200 users. We ended up getting the opportunity to pitch it to OpenAI themselves. For that project, I wrote about 90% or more of the code base, and that's just what I've done with coding. If you can't tell, I'm a CS kid. Outside of coding, I also was doing soccer, about 3 trainings a week, or 4 hours per training. I also did powerlifting, so I've been gymming for about like 4 years now, and I made it to national qualifiers. So besides that, I also did VIA and like piano and a bunch of other random side quests. So okay. And so now that you guys know some of my credentials, I'm gonna be announcing that I am still gonna be doing my USA college admissions consulting. If you guys need help, anything USA college admissions, you guys should hit me up in my email, and then we'll schedule a 30-minute call, and then I'll give you a quote. So I'll talk a bit more about the details now. Why am I doing this, right? Well, I think the system is hard. Like, I really tried. Like, I feel I really tried my best in this application cycle, and I still got fucked. So it's getting harder and harder. And I want to help as many people as possible, in my position, juniors, to help navigate it. I don't think that getting into a university should be this competitive, honestly. I think there's a supply and demand issue there, but I understand how confusing it can be. Me personally, for my application, I actually pair wrote my essay. So like, how to say, is that the right word? Pair writing. Yeah, I guess pair. Imagine like a group project, right? So my application was a group project between me and another guy. This guy was the only Indonesian to get accepted into Harvard 2 cycles back. So I'm pretty honored to have his help. Besides that, I've also sent out my essays for reviews from probably about like more than 10 current or past Ivy League students or hipsum students. So like Yale people doing PhD at Yale, people doing masters at MIT, etc. So you can't say that I didn't try, right? I really do try, and this is just my mentality and who I am as a person. Go watch any of my fucking previous videos. You know that, um, I don't take these type of things lightly. I really do try my 100%, and I will try my 100% to help you. I'm disciplined. I'm consistent. I'm punctual, and if you work with me, we will align our goals together, and I promise that we'll run at full steam. you know Even if it doesn't work out, fuck it. And that's why, and to further instill this fuck it mentality, I'll be adjusting the pricing accordingly. So the way the pricing is going to work is, after I talk with you a bit more, we'll establish a base price where you'll pay me up front, and then maybe like a set amount. But if you don't get into your dream schools, or like a list of schools that we established beforehand, that are like your target schools that you want to get into in the USA, if you don't get into a single one of those universities, like me, I'll refund you again a predetermined amount, which will probably be 75% or more of your initial payment. So it'll basically be highly subsidized if you don't get in. And of course, I want to make this as equitable as possible, my services. So if you do have require financial assistance, or you're just in a tricky spot in a family, or financials, you can bring that up in our call, and I will take that into consideration. That's why I'm doing a quoting system. I don't believe that I should charge the same price to a rich fucker and a guy who's like barely making ends meet. It doesn't make sense to me. I want to help as many people as possible, for reasonable value. We're gonna have most likely weekly calls, at your convenience, starting from June, going all the way to December. Every yes, we'll try to have it every week and start as early as possible in June, because I have to get to know you better. There is actually a huge like research portion of the application process, that, and by research I mean like you have to research into yourself. Like, for example, what is your culture, what is your heritage, get to know yourself better, and what are the values that you believe in. And so I'll be guiding you through that, probably like as like a personal therapist or some shit. Once we figure that out, then we can start writing the essays. And of course, me, after looking through like probably more than 2 dozen successful Ivy League applications, I do believe that I do have a keen eye as to what works and what doesn't. Then you might be asking, well, Super Autopads Farmer 21927, why the fuck do you get rejected then, you absolute dumb fuck? Shit. I mean, I don't have much to say to that. If anything, I have been reflecting on the things that I could have done better during the last application cycle. I will be taking a relook at my own essays. I will let you take a look at my essays and the essays of all of my friends from these Ivy League institutions, and we can discuss about what we think went right and what we think went wrong. For example, one of the things that I think I didn't do too well was, I think I hyper fixated on reading essays that got students in, but I didn't actually read a lot of essays that got students rejected. I just want to say that the credibility of an admissions consultant does not lie within whether they themselves get accepted. Of course, it's real fucking hypocritical for me to, or ironic for me to say that, right? But it truly is, right? The students who get accepted don't know what got them accepted outside of a few outliers, which I've mentioned before. The students who got rejected, like me, don't know exactly what got them rejected. The only ones who can discern and end up being good admissions consultants are those who have viewed a large, statistically significant sample size of applications, and from there are able to discern patterns from the data, which I think I'm pretty good at. So yep, if you're interested in these services, you can email me in the description. All the guys who have like DM me, or have reached out to me in the like the few months of the existence of my channel. Thank you for your support. I'm sorry to let you know that I didn't get accepted, right? So I hope that doesn't shake your faith in me. But I'll just DM this video to you, and you can let me know whether you're interested, yes or no. All right, I'll see you guys. Also, one more thing. I'm gonna be enlisting into NS in about 3 days. So the next time you'll see me will be 2 weeks later. Unfortunately, I don't have an upload prepared, so I'm gonna have to break my weekly upload streak. Sad. But yeah, the next time you'll see me, I'll be bald. Maybe no more face cam from now on. Damn it. Alright, fuckers. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.